I'm Kim Trent. I'm Deputy Director for Prosperity for the Michigan Department of Labor and Economic Opportunity. I am someone who was nurtured by some of the most prominent women leaders in Detroit. I have to say I've been extraordinarily blessed to have incredible mentors. And I think that having seen them and kind of the generation that came before me and the sexism that they faced, the barriers that they faced, really inspired me to be an advocate for women's issues. And so I think that women can lead in any space, whether it's something that's about gender or not. But I think that having been kind of raised in this work by women who were very intentional about opening doors for other women, about making sure that in any space the issues of women were brought to the table. I think that has really kind of prepared me for being a leader, without kind of any kind of gender consideration, but also a leader who is very cognizant of the barriers and challenges that women face in, both in the workplace and in other settings. I would advise women who want to do what I do to networking is such a cliche, but sometimes the best way to put yourself in the mix for opportunities is for people to just know you by your work. And by networking, I don't mean going to dinner parties or cocktail parties and or going to professional events only. It's putting yourself out there to people you admire. I have been blessed to have proteges now. Now I'm at the age now where I don't just have mentors, and unfortunately, a few of my mentors, a significant number of them have passed away. So now I'm in this space where I'm a mentor to women, and I've always been impressed with women who come to me and say, "I want you to be my mentor." Because so much of life, it's about how you produce. It's about what you know and what your credentials are. But the truth of the matter is, a lot of it is just who you know. And when you see someone who is dynamic and connected and smart and ethical and highly professional and competent, I think that the smart thing to do is say, I see this person, not necessarily that you want to pattern yourself after them, but I'd love to have a relationship with this person, and just be bold enough to tell that person that. And, I was able to gain some incredible mentors by doing that, and I've been able to attract some really great proteges. So I don't think anybody should necessarily want to be like a leader that you admire. I think that you want to kind of learn from them and then kind of forge your own path. But I think that when people are successful, it's easy to, it's sometimes really beneficial to kind of hear their story, how they got where they are, and your path could be completely different. But it gives you the confidence of knowing that even people who make it look easy struggle to get where they are. I think that things that we've been fighting for so many years, like quality, affordable childcare, a recognition of, the importance of having some kind of continuity and work rules that make family life possible. Because so many women have left the workplace because of the COVID-19 crisis, there seems to be a growing appreciation that these things are not just bells and whistles and extras, but you have to be just as in the turn of the century or last in the last century, when things like having weekends off, which at some point probably felt really indulgent, but the organized labor movement helped to make that kind of a standard thing. I think we're getting to a point where things that seemed like maybe a pipe dream years ago, things like having employers be invested in childcare, having paid sick leave. I think we're on the precipice of actually having meaningful change on that front. And, I'm really excited about that. I think that we have to continue to push because it's not going to happen without that advocacy. And the advocacy has been there for a long time. But I think now businesses are starting to recognize that it's not something that you should do if you can. It's something that should be done. That there has to be a recognition of that work-life balance, and that women, parents, people who have obligations outside of work, you have to be respectful of that, and ensure that your employees are kind of whole humans and not just people who make widgets. So I really am optimistic that we are going to see meaningful change. We've already seen it. We've already seen at the state level and even at the federal level, and I think that we're going to